While many of us love The Chosen's portrayals of Jesus healing the blind or walking on water, today I wanted to share a lesser-known miracle related to The Chosen, how The Chosen found a film set in Utah. This story is incredible. Beginning in season 2 and in every season since, many of The Chosen's most iconic scenes have been filmed at a set owned by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Goshen, Utah. This incredible set includes recreations of first-century landmarks, like the temple and the Pool of Bethesda. Although it was originally constructed for the church's New Testament Bible videos, the Goshen site was always meant to serve a wider purpose. In fact, at the dedication of the site, church leader David A. Bednar specifically prayed that others would be drawn to use it. In the dedicatory prayer on August 2nd, 2011, he prayed, "We also ask thee to bless other believers in the film industry, that they will be touched and influenced to inquire how this set might be used to further goodness and righteousness throughout the earth." Years later, that prayer was answered in a very unexpected way. So season 1 of The Chosen was filmed on a really small set in rural Texas. As Dallas Jenkins and the producers of The Chosen planned season 2, they needed a bigger set, one that included Jerusalem. Building a new set was too expensive and time-consuming, and shooting overseas became impossible with the onset of COVID-19. One possible option for filming was the Goshen set. Before the pandemic, Angel Studios, who had been working with The Chosen, explored the possibility of The Chosen using the Goshen set, but COVID brought progress to a halt. Then a remarkable series of events was set in motion. On June 1st, 2020, a man named Brad Pillow woke up with a clear impression to check to see whether The Chosen had been given permission to use the set. Brad's company had recently been purchased by Bonneville Corporation, which is owned by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and had stewardship over the Goshen set. So Brad felt maybe he had some connections that could help The Chosen use the set. After talking with a friend who worked with The Chosen, Brad learned that the church was not accepting requests to use the Goshen site because of the pandemic. Still, he began conversations with Bonneville leaders just to explore the possibilities. 4 days later, on June 5th, Dallas Jenkins visited the set for the first time, accompanied by his business partner, Daryl Eves. Dallas later said, "It was the greatest set I'd ever seen. I felt God pressing on my heart, telling me that lives are going to be changed because of the work that you will do on this set." But The Chosen was denied permission to use the site, and it looked like filming The Chosen would be delayed by years. Dallas was discouraged, but his wife Amanda was not. Dallas said, "My wife is very in tune with the Spirit, and she said that God had put it on her heart that we will be working on the Goshen set. God is taking us to the edge of the Red Sea." Others who were involved in the project were also getting desperate. Neil Harmon of Angel Studios recalled, "We were getting no's from everyone. I knelt down and prayed, 'God, this is not happening. We need your help. What more can I do?' And the answer was, 'There's nothing more you can do. I need Dallas to do one more thing.'" Completely unaware of Neil's prayer, Dallas posted a video on July 5th, 2020, explaining to fans why season 2 might be delayed.
Because I'm in a difficult place, to be honest with you. I'm in a place where I don't know the future. As of right now, I can't tell you where we're going to film our show next. I can't tell you even if we're going to film in 2020. I am just so unsure. And so now, as I'm about to walk around this farm by myself, and I'm just going to pray and I'm going to listen, one of the songs that I'm going to be singing and thinking about, and I was singing it just yesterday, it just knocked me out because it's so perfect for where I'm at now. And the lyrics go, "I am holding on to faith because I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand. And I don't always get to see. But I will believe it. I will believe it. Because you make mountains move. You make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. That you were faithful then, and you'll be faithful now." And I believe that. And that song, Faithful Now, is carrying me. And as I stand here in the rain, I believe it. I don't know the future, as the lyrics say in Faithful Now. I don't always get to understand and I don't always get to see, but I will believe it. I will believe it, because you make mountains move.
That video inspired thousands of prayers. Dallas later said things started happening that were unexplainable. So many windows opened and no's became yeses. On July 6th, the very next day, a friend of the Harmons who had been helping promote The Chosen felt prompted to call a church leader named M. Russell Ballard to again investigate the possibility of The Chosen using the Goshen site. At this point, it seemed impossible that approval would be granted, given the fact that the filming deadline required a final decision on set location to be made by mid-July. And any church leaders who could potentially approve an exception to the COVID-19 policy weren't available, as they typically have the month of July reserved for personal and family matters. This individual had recently been involved in some meetings with Elder Ballard and had given both Elder Ballard and Elder Ballard's secretary copies of season 1 of The Chosen. When he called, the secretary was enthusiastic. She had seen all the season 1 episodes and loved them. Elder Ballard happened to be in his office that morning, which was a minor miracle since he was leaving town the next day. That afternoon, Elder Ballard watched some clips from The Chosen and was deeply impressed. He called Sherry Dew, the executive vice president of Deseret Management, and asked her to explore making an exception to the COVID policy. You know how life works, right? You pray hard, you trust in the Lord, and you get the answer that you want. Well, not always. 2 days later, Brad got some tough news. Only the First Presidency, the most senior leadership body in the church, could approve an exception, and they wouldn't meet again until August. This obviously would not work for The Chosen because it would take a lot of time to arrange a production schedule, and the set absolutely needed to be found in July for filming to take place in 2020. Brad had been encouraging Dallas not to lose hope that the Goshen site would be made available, and so he didn't tell Dallas that a decision couldn't be made in July. Instead, he encouraged Dallas to visit him in Utah so that they could discuss things further. When Dallas arrived on Monday, July 13th, Brad told Dallas that only the First Presidency could make the exception and that they wouldn't meet until early August. Because the timing was so crucial, Dallas felt like he might as well get back on the plane and head home. Brad later recounted, "I told Dallas that I felt this was a time where we needed to exercise greater faith. We needed to step into the sea expecting it would part. That rather than run from a lack of clarity, we needed to remember what we had both felt when we were first on the set and trust the Lord would make a way." The next day, July 14th, Brad and Dallas had a Zoom meeting with 2 senior church leaders, Jeffrey R. Holland and David A. Bednar of the Quorum of the 12. In this meeting, Dallas shared his vision for the series and his desire to tell the Savior's story in an authentic way. His words resonated with the church leaders who saw the potential for The Chosen to bring people closer to Jesus Christ, regardless of their denominational differences. Dallas recalled, "We found that we had the same goal in mind, which was to make Jesus known around the world." Elder Holland asked when The Chosen would need to know about permission to use the set in order to film there. Dallas responded, "Yesterday." Elder Holland said, "Well, in that case, maybe we should try to get the First Presidency to make a decision during the July break." Dallas joked, "You're the best door-knocking church in the world. You can just knock on their door, right?" Elder Holland said they'd see what they could do. The next day, on Wednesday, July 15th, Brad and Dallas, along with Jeff and Neil Harmon and Jeff's wife, Anna Lee, gathered at the Goshen set before sunrise to pray together. The sun seemed to take forever to rise over the horizon, and Anna Lee remarked that it was a reminder of the process we go through as we wait on the Lord, seeing evidence of his presence, but having to patiently wait for outcomes. Dallas returned home, and the next morning, Brad received an email from Sherry Dew. It said, "The First Presidency of the church has indicated they have no objection to using the Goshen set to film the next season of The Chosen." Dallas was overjoyed. Amanda was not surprised. Dallas later reflected, "I remember people saying after I posted the video that they started praying, and instantly it was as if God was saying, 'I was just waiting for you to surrender. I will part the Red Sea and you will know.' that it's me.
You prayed, and this is what happened. We are going to be filming in Goshen, Utah, probably the most extraordinary set I've ever seen in my life. What we are going to be able to accomplish with this set, and because of some of the opportunities that have opened up for us, is going to be life-altering. The story deserves the best, and this is the best. There is not another set like this in the entire world. Your prayers and your support and God's provision allowed us to get this place in such an amazing and miraculous way.
Part of this miracle is how it had been foreshadowed by Elder Bednar nearly a decade earlier. On the day of the dedication of the Goshen site, Elder Bednar had been inspired to state, "We seated in this tent today have no more idea about the influence for good that will come from the work that is conducted on this set than a babe that sits upon its mother's lap. There is an influence for good that will go forth from this place that will be remarkable." He was so right. One of the things I love most about The Chosen is how it brings believers from different denominations together. Dallas is an evangelical Christian. Brad is a Latter-day Saint. Jonathan Rumi, who portrays Jesus, is Catholic. The Chosen is a model of interfaith collaboration. And you and I don't have to be on the production team to participate in that spirit of interfaith connection. Invite a friend. Watch an episode together. Talk about Jesus. The Chosen is more than a show. It's a shared miracle.